It up, shot won't fall. Wilson, what looks like over the back. Well,
Oh boy.
jump ball is the call.
Wow. Stephanie White's upset about that. I thought that was over the back. Wow. Watch this. That's a jump ball? That's
One single play. That's all it took to expose a crack running through the entire foundation of the WNBA. It wasn't a championship-winning buzzer beater or a record-breaking stat line. It was a routine rebound, a moment of fundamental basketball that, for a split second, seemed to break the laws of the sport itself. You could see it happen in real time, a player establishing perfect position only to be climbed like a ladder by a superstar opponent. Everyone watching knew what was coming next, a clear and obvious foul call.
But this was a big win for the Fever because the Aces were the only team that they had not won at least one game to last season, meaning the Aces swept the Fever last season. They actually haven't won a game against the Aces in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark. This team is crazy. They are beating the #1 team in the league first. And then they go and beat the Aces, who they haven't won to in 16 games. And they did it without Caitlin Clark, which is just a testament to how this team is finally developing a rhythm.
But what happened instead sent a shockwave of disbelief through the arena and across the internet. The whistle blew, but the call was so baffling, so counterintuitive, it felt like a glitch in the Matrix. This wasn't just a bad call. It was the undeniable proof of a problem that players, coaches, and fans have been screaming about for months. And thanks to this one viral moment, the whispers have turned into a roar, with calls for an official investigation growing louder by the day.
And Aja Whistle Wilson, my God, you see how many free throws that lady have? Oh my God, on the stat sheet, she had basically 30 points, but all the free throws this woman got, man, they tried their best to keep the Aces in the game, man, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter, man. They destroyed the Aces. About freaking time the Fever finally beats the Aces, man, and without Caitlin Clark.
The play that broke the internet began as simply as possible. Indiana Fever's Lexi Hull did her job, executing a perfect box out on Las Vegas Aces' star, Aja Wilson. She got low, sealed her position between Wilson and the basket, and prepared for the rebound. This is day one basketball, the kind of gritty, fundamental work that wins games. Wilson, however, took a shortcut. She lunged directly over Hull's back, making clear contact with her shoulders and hacking down at the ball. In any basketball game on planet Earth, that's an over-the-back foul. It's not a debate, it's a definition. The broadcast crew saw it, with the commentators audibly stunned, stammering as they tried to process the scene. But the referees saw something different. They signaled for a jump ball, a reward for the fouler and a punishment for the player who did everything right. In that instant, a single, indefensible decision became the smoking gun for an entire season of frustration. It was no longer a matter of opinion or conspiracy. It was right there on screen for millions to see.
It's a foul. It's a third.
Lexi Hull, tremendous 3 and 2. Leads the league at 50% shooting the 3, draws the charge.
But the problem was bigger than just one play. That moment was simply the most blatant example of a pattern so consistent, it has its own nickname among fans, Whistle Wilson. For weeks, dedicated viewers have been tracking the phenomenon, a grassroots data project born out of pure frustration. They watched as Aja Wilson seemed to operate under a different set of rules, drawing soft fouls on offense while getting away with physical plays on defense. This game laid the evidence bare for all to see. The numbers were staggering. Wilson alone shot 13 free throws. The entire Indiana Fever team, with 12 players over 4 quarters, shot a combined 17. A single player nearly matched the free throw total of an entire roster. Let that sink in. It's a statistical anomaly so glaring it feels like a typo. For fans who had been pointing this out for weeks, this wasn't just another game, it was validation. The Whistle Wilson conspiracy theory had just been proven with the league's own evidence.
This defense is playing phenomenal. Oh my God, it's night and day. I think that Commissioner's Cup gave them swag. Now they're swagging it out. I never seen Natasha Howard so aggressive in my life. This girl is beasting now all suddenly. She is beast moding right now. And Timpson, the rookie, getting block shots, getting steals. Aaliyah Boston is just murking, destroying Aja Wilson. Man, you know, I got a nickname for Aja Wilson, guys. You know what it is? Whistle Wilson. Because this lady's always getting whistles. She's the person with the special whistle, guys. Every freaking time. And then she goes to the free throw line. Freaking free throw merchant. I think she's related to SGA. But anyway, she's not playing that great.
And just when you thought the situation couldn't get any more bizarre, the controversy took a shocking twist. The outrage wasn't just coming from the Indiana sideline. It was coming from the very team benefiting from the lopsided calls. Throughout the game, Las Vegas head coach Becky Hammon stood on the sideline, arms folded, glaring at the officials with disgust. Even when her team was getting the favorable whistle, she looked like she wanted no part of the chaotic, sloppy product on the floor. Her frustration finally boiled over in the post-game press conference. She didn't blame her players or praise the refs. Instead, she dropped a bombshell statement that sent shockwaves through the league. "I thought they were grabbing and holding us," she said. "It's a rugby match, and my team doesn't want to play rugby back, so we got our AE kicked." That is an unbelievable admission. The coach of the reigning MVP, whose team was gifted possession on that infamous jump ball, was publicly declaring that the referees had lost complete control. When even the beneficiary of the chaos calls it a rugby match, you know the league has a systemic failure on its hands. It's no longer about bias, it's about incompetence.
The Aces tried to put a little run together to start the third quarter, and Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull shut that shit down. They shut it down by hitting some big shots. All right? That steal led to the only 2 points that Sophie Cunningham had. But it was big. So right here, let's start Aaliyah Boston right here. That's Sydney Colson to Boston. She going to drive into the lane.
Wilson.
And I've got to tell you, she
While
gave
Hammond was fuming
Aja
about the game
Wilson
turning
all
into
she
a
could
street
handle.
brawl, the coach on the other side of the court was staging her own public protest. With just over 5 minutes left in the game and her Indiana Fever team holding a commanding 20-point lead, Stephanie White had finally seen enough. She marched onto the court, unloaded on the nearest official, and earned a technical foul without a moment's hesitation. This wasn't a coach losing her cool in a tight game. This was a calculated explosion. It was a respected coach on the verge of a massive victory, using the national spotlight to send a clear message to the league office. This is not okay. This is not professional basketball. And the reaction from her star player made the message echo even louder. An injured Caitlin Clark, watching from the bench, leaped to her feet, a huge grin on her face, and raised her hand to give her coach a high five. That single gesture was a massive public endorsement. It was one of the biggest stars in sports co-signing a protest against the league's officiating, a unified front of disgust from the player to the coach.
Aja Wilson, she got a favorable whistle in the second half, but it is what it is. Superstars get the whistle. Unless your name is, 29 points for Aja Wilson, 3 boards, 3 personal fouls, 3 turnovers, 9 for 18 from the field, 11 for 13 from the free throw line. Look at the rest of her team. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 6 points, 0 points, 4 points, 2 points, 3 points. Dana Evans, 1 for 10, Dana Evans. Oh my goodness.
This firestorm didn't ignite in a vacuum. It was the culmination of an entire season of ignored warnings and simmering anger. For Stephanie White, this fight has been personal all year. She was already fined by the league earlier in the season for publicly calling out the poor officiating. Her technical foul wasn't a first strike. It was the continuation of a campaign to hold the league accountable. Behind the scenes, the situation was even more volatile. Reports have circulated for months about players, coaches, and even team executives privately complaining that the WNBA has allowed its games to become overly physical, brutal slogs. They argue the officials have lost the ability, or perhaps the will, to enforce the rules consistently, creating a dangerous environment where skill is overshadowed by brute force. The league was repeatedly warned that a crisis was brewing, yet it seemingly did nothing.
Wilson crossing over. Wilson hangs. Wilson finishes.
Oh boy. Here she comes.
See, Hull, a much-needed answer for Indiana.
See, after the miss, Hull on the floor again, finds Mitchell, right corner for three. Good! Mitchell the other way for two. 57-38 Fever with 3:35 left in the third quarter.
So
Becky
why did it
Hammon's
all
had
explode
enough.
in this specific game? The answer is simple. The Caitlin Clark effect. Her arrival in the WNBA brought an unprecedented wave of media coverage and millions of new fans. Suddenly, the league was no longer operating in a niche bubble. Every game, especially one featuring Clark's Fever against the two-time defending champion Aces, was now a major television event. The league's officiating problem, which had festered in the relative dark for years, was suddenly under the brightest spotlight imaginable. That egregious, over-the-back call wasn't just a mistake. It was a mistake made in front of a massive, engaged audience that hangs on every play. The jump ball fiasco became the perfect visual to encapsulate the entire crisis, a moment so undeniably wrong that it became impossible for the league to sweep it under the rug. The new eyes on the league weren't just watching the game, they were scrutinizing it.
Like I said, the referees were starting to get on the side of the Aces. They were trying to wheel the Aces back in. And Lexi stepped in and sort of killed it. Kelsey Mitchell never took her foot off the gas tonight, by the way. This is the best thing I've seen from Stephanie White all season long. Right here, she was aggravated by the refs already. And in the fourth quarter, 5:35 left, Stephanie White lost her shit on the sideline. She lost her shit. And let me just play this right here. Roll it.
Lost that lead late.
And you see her.
See on Caitlin
You
Clark.
see her just losing
She'll
it
play
up
enough.
here. Losing it.
Wilson misses on
And
a
she
three,
got
Stephanie
teed up
White gets a
right
technical
there.
on the sideline.
And Caitlin Clark loved it.
Now, the WNBA finds itself trapped in a credibility nightmare entirely of its own making. The perfect storm has hit. A viral clip of an indefensible call, damning statistics that suggest preferential treatment, and a unified chorus of outrage from both coaches in the game. The issue is no longer a secret whispered in locker rooms. It has a face, a nickname, and it's trending worldwide. The league's silence in the aftermath has been deafening, and in the court of public opinion, that silence is being read as an admission of guilt, an acknowledgement that the system is flawed, and they are unwilling or unable to fix it. This wasn't just a win for the Indiana Fever. It was the public shattering of the WNBA's integrity. The question is no longer if there's a problem. The question is, what are they going to do about it? Is it time for harsher penalties for bad refs? A complete overhaul of how they are trained and evaluated? Let us know in the comments what you think the league needs to do first, because one thing is for sure. Everyone is watching now.
Guys, when did Indiana Fever turn into the best defensive team in the NBA? When? I mean, after that celebration from the Commissioner's Cup, we all thought they were going to come out here a little bit hangover. I mean, their defensive prowess has gone up 100%. In the first half, we have Aces down 22 points. We have only beaten Las Vegas Aces one time in 9 years. For those who do not know that statistic, we've only beaten them once in 9 years. Their defense is impenetrable. We have 28 points in the paint for the second quarter. We are shooting 90% from the field in the second quarter. This is insane.